Each day I live, I want to be a day to give.
Good evening. Tonight, we are pulling back the curtain on an investigative look into the trillion-dollar music industry, focusing on a quiet revolution that has mainstream executives scrambling behind closed doors. For decades, the path to global stardom required signing away your creative freedom, your masters, and your financial future to a major corporate label. But a massive shift is occurring right before our eyes, spearheaded by an artist who managed to completely bypass the traditional gatekeepers. By 2026, this vocalist hasn't just broken the rules of the music business, she has rendered them entirely obsolete. What began as a heartbreaking elimination on a televised reality competition turned into the foundation for a staggering independent media empire. Our investigation reveals that while corporate labels spent millions trying to manufacture the next artificial pop sensation, a teenager from Wigan, England, was quietly building a digital juggernaut that has now surpassed 1.5 billion views. The mainstream media rarely covers how this level of success is possible without a Hollywood budget. But tonight, we break down the exact blueprint of how she achieved the impossible. But to understand how this quiet rebellion shook the industry, we have to look back at the televised illusion that almost trapped her career before it even started. Back in 2018, television networks promised aspiring artists a golden ticket to fame through highly publicized vocal competitions. A 14-year-old Lucy stepped into this high-pressure environment, instantly stunning audiences with a vocal maturity that completely her age. Yet, in a move that shocked viewers across the country, she was eliminated in the semifinals. Historically, this is where the story ends for most reality TV contestants. Industry data shows that a staggering percentage of talent show alumni fall victim to severe post-show obscurity, or worse, predatory contracts that exploit their temporary fame before discarding them entirely. Our sources close to the industry indicate that these televised programs are often designed to lock young talent into incredibly restrictive options. For Lucy, however, that televised exit was not a defeat. Our analysis indicates it was a massive stroke of luck. By exiting the mainstream television machine before the final round, she evaded the heavy-handed corporate contracts that typically bind the winners. She avoided the fate of being molded into a fleeting, hyper-commercialized pop act. Instead of chasing the approval of network executives who viewed her as a temporary ratings boost, she walked out of the studio with her artistic integrity completely intact. And what happened next would set the stage for an unprecedented business pivot that left industry insiders thoroughly confused. Rather than taking the standard route of begging major Hollywood labels for a development deal, a strategic decision was made to partner with Cavendish Records. To the untrained eye, signing with a small, independent boutique label seemed like a massive step backward for someone with such undeniable global appeal. Major labels have historically used their massive capital to control radio airplay, billboard space, and mainstream media coverage, creating a monopoly that independent artists could rarely penetrate. However, our investigation into this specific partnership reveals a completely different business model. Cavendish Records provided a rare commodity in the modern music landscape: absolute creative autonomy and total ownership of the masters. This meant no corporate committees dictating her image, no marketing teams demanding controversial publicity stunts, and no executives forcing her to change her signature classical crossover style. While her peers were being forced into highly synthesized, trend-chasing tracks, she was allowed to record timeless, emotionally resonant music that targeted a deeply loyal demographic. It was a slow-burn strategy that completely ignored the traditional radio circuit. Observers at the time wondered how an artist could possibly survive without mainstream distribution channels. But as the digital landscape began to evolve, her team unlocked a secret weapon that traditional media networks completely failed to anticipate: Our media analytics team has broken down the staggering data behind her digital trajectory, and the numbers are absolutely unprecedented for an independent artist. Without millions of dollars in corporate backing, she turned directly to digital video platforms, allowing a highly sophisticated distribution algorithm to act as her global PR machine. Month after month, high-quality performances and meticulously produced covers were uploaded directly to the internet. The viewer response was nothing short of a statistical anomaly. By the time 2025 drew to a close, her channel had effortlessly crossed the 1 million subscriber threshold, and her total cumulative views skyrocketed past an incredible 1.5 billion. To put those metrics into perspective, her single rendition of the classic track, Hallelujah, pulled in over 70 million views alone, outperforming the heavily funded promotional campaigns of multi-platinum, label-backed pop stars. This wasn't just temporary viral fame. This was a highly sustainable, globally distributed audience that spanned across multiple continents. She effectively cut out the traditional media middlemen, proving that if the content resonates deeply enough with the public, the gatekeepers lose all their leverage. But as these massive digital numbers began transforming into actual financial independence, a quiet wave of panic began spreading through the upper echelons of the music industry. Unconfirmed reports and whispers from industry insiders suggest that elite record executives have become deeply alarmed by this level of independent momentum. The traditional music industry relies heavily on a specific narrative, that artists absolutely need corporate financial backing and executive connections to achieve global scale. When an independent artist completely dismantles that narrative by achieving elite-level metrics on her own, it threatens the very survival of the major label system. Speculation has surfaced that multiple high-level talent scouts have attempted to approach her team with lucrative contract offers, only to be turned away because no corporate deal could match the financial and creative freedom she already possesses. The real controversy brewing in the entertainment world isn't a public scandal. It is the fact that a young independent artist has exposed the extreme inefficiencies and predatory nature of modern recording contracts. By showing future generations of musicians that they can retain their own profits and creative control, she has inadvertently sparked an ideological rebellion. Major corporations are realizing that their ability to exploit young talent is rapidly diminishing in an era where creators hold all the digital leverage. And as we move deeper into 2026, her team has launched a series of aggressive new ventures that permanently solidify her status as an untouchable entity. Our latest market reports indicate that her business model has transitioned into a state of total economic sovereignty. Entering 2026, her operation heavily integrated direct-to-fan monetization platforms, completely bypassing traditional streaming vulnerabilities and ensuring that her core audience directly funds her future projects. This year also marked the highly anticipated release of her studio album, Portrait, which dropped to massive critical acclaim and immense digital sales, completely independent of major retail distribution chains. Furthermore, she successfully crossed over into the elite world of theater, securing a monumental role in the West End production of the musical. This multidimensional expansion proves that an independent digital audience can successfully translate into live box office power and theatrical prestige. She has effectively built a self-sustaining ecosystem where every single dollar generated goes directly back into the creative process and her own team, rather than lining the pockets of corporate shareholders. It is in modern entertainment economics that has completely redefined what it means to be a successful mogul in the digital age. This investigative report brings us to a definitive conclusion about the shifting tides of global entertainment. The meteoric rise of Lucy Thomas is a clear, undeniable signal that the historic era of the all-powerful record label is rapidly coming to an end. By surviving the pitfalls of reality television, rejecting the empty promises of corporate contracts, and leveraging the sheer power of the digital algorithm, she has created a flawless blueprint for the next generation of global creators. The old system built on exploitation, manufactured images, and lopsided contracts is crumbling in the face of decentralized technology. As we sign off tonight, we are left with one profound question that every aspiring artist and music executive must face. If a single independent artist can capture the hearts of billions entirely on her own terms, why would anyone ever sign their rights away to a corporate label again? This is a special report. Good night.